Hey guys, Mike here. So welcome to my 200th review, Sonic the Hedgehog. In this review, I'll be going over a brief summary of the plot, my quick thoughts about the film, and whether or not you guys should go and see it. So I'm going to try and keep this review spoiler free. However, if you don't know anything about the film and you want to go completely blind, then it's just come back to this video once you've seen the film. So with that, let's get started on my 200th review.
So, you're supposed to be Tom's best friend that he won't shut up about. Well, I don't see the appeal.
That is very gross. Let's go.
So guys, a little bit of a clarification. This is my 200th review if you don't count my cult classic reviews. If you were counting them, The Grudge is technically my 200th review. However, in this circumstance, I'm not counting them towards the 200. So, my 200th review is Sonic the Hedgehog. So, let's get back to the review. So, Sonic the Hedgehog stars James Marsden, Jim Carrey, and Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog. In Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic has been living on Earth for over 10 years now, and after a recent turn of events, he's been discovered by the United States government. So because the US are dealing with something that they have no idea what it is, they decide to bring in an expert, who happens to be Dr. Robotnik. So Dr. Robotnik uses his robot army to try and find Sonic. So Sonic enlists the help of James Marsden's character, Tom, to try and escape Dr. Robotnik. And so we have Sonic the Hedgehog. So first of all, guys, I have to say that I've been a fan of Sonic for pretty much all my life. One of the first ever games I remember playing was the original Sonic the Hedgehog game on the Sega Mega Drive. And though I haven't really played many of the recent Sonic games, Sonic the Hedgehog has pretty much always been a part of my life. Though the main reason I went to go see this movie was to pay respect to the people who redesigned the character. Because we all remember what the original Sonic design looked like. Jeez. And Moving Picture Company Vancouver were the people who were tasked with redesigning Sonic, and I gotta say that they did a really good job. However, unfortunately, all this extra pressure made the company go out of business and go into bankruptcy, which was an absolute shame. They worked so hard and so quickly to redesign this character for the fans, and they ended up losing their company because of it. And that's the main reason why I think people should support this movie. Because if you're one of the people who complained about the original design, like I did, then you were very happy to see that they redesigned the character. However, if you now don't go see the movie after they put in all these man-hours to redesign the character, then honestly, I don't think you have a leg to stand on. Honestly, I'm so glad that I'll never have to see that old Sonic design again. Oh, anyway, so, what did I think of Sonic the Hedgehog? Obviously, I've already talked about how much I really love the redesign of Sonic, but how was the actual character and the person who portrayed him? Honestly, I was really happy with how Sonic was portrayed in this movie. He's pretty much exactly how I remembered he was. He was energetic, he was charismatic, he was funny, he was fun, and honestly, I was just, like I've said, really happy with how Sonic was in this movie. And they were just so creative with this character as well. Every single time Sonic does something with his speed, it's always for a purpose. Whether it is just for a silly light joke, or whether it's setting up an amazing Sonic speed sequence. And honestly, some of these speed sequences reminded me so much of X-Men Days of Future Past. Because some of the speed sequences in this are pretty much exactly the same as Quicksilver's. And while the Quicksilver speed sequence may have been a bit more slightly original and a bit more creative than in Sonic the Hedgehog, these scenes were still very much appreciated and were very in character for Sonic. Sure, some of his powers may have been a bit inconsistent, but still, I was very happy with what I got from Sonic in this movie. James Marsden's character was pretty by the numbers, didn't really do anything out of the ordinary, didn't say anything out of the ordinary, and his character is pretty much kind of just the, you know, stand-in character that you would have in this movie. They're pretty much the character where we're supposed to kind of see these events through his eyes and kind of imagine what we would do in this situation. Not that I'm saying he was bad, he was just quite serviceable for this movie. Jim Carrey, on the other hand, was pretty much just kind of playing himself in this movie. Though I really like Jim Carrey, and I think he was quite good in this role, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Jim Carrey was the only person who could have played this role. The main person, honestly, who I thought could have really played Dr. Robotnik really well was Danny DeVito. Now, I say Danny DeVito should pretty much play every role, but honestly, he would have been really good as Dr. Robotnik, the Eggman. But still, Jim Carrey did a really good job. One of my narrative concerns for Sonic the Hedgehog was wondering how they get him to Earth. But they do it within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and though I didn't know all the characters that were in the sequence, I still really liked it, and it did have quite an emotional impact. Not like, you know, like insanely emotional, but I could tell they really cared about the source material and setting up this movie really well. And though this whole movie's premise isn't exactly original, I still really like this movie. The comedy in Sonic the Hedgehog was definitely one of the standouts. While not all the humour in this movie is exactly original, I did find that I've laughed for pretty much every joke in this movie. Though honestly, I must say, there were probably a handful of jokes in this movie which did have me in hysterics. And honestly, I'd say some of them weren't exactly even the big jokes. Some of them were just small, little, insignificant scenes that just really had me in stitches. Honestly, I'd say one of the funniest things about this movie is that somehow Sonic makes an appearance. It's insane how they managed to work Sonic in there, but they did it. So you know what, props to the Sonic the Hedgehog filmmakers for such a meta joke. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. Definitely way more than I thought I would. When I saw the initial trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog, bad design aside, I didn't really think this movie looked any good. It looked very by the numbers, generic, unfunny, and something that was coming out way too late to be relevant. And while this isn't the most original movie ever made, I found that I really enjoyed myself. And I just really want people, especially those who complain about the original design, to go out and support this movie. Not just because I think it's worth seeing, but just to mainly pay respect to the hard-working people who made this redesign happen. And I really hope that Sonic the Hedgehog does well, because, not to give any spoilers away, but they've set up some interesting things for if they make a sequel to this movie. Because honestly, guys, go out and support this movie, because new design aside, I think this is a fairly decent watch. And something else as well, which I didn't even actually think of till doing this review, this is actually a good video game movie, which is very rare. Okay guys, that's my review for Sonic the Hedgehog. If you've seen it, what did you think about it? And what's your favourite video game movie? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. And until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!